What is up? Welcome to the episode. In last week's episode, we finally got the brown wagon all together, comfortable enough to put on Marketplace. It is now on Marketplace. Where we last left off with that is the brakes weren't working too well and it was pretty sluggish in the power department. Since then, I have fixed the brakes and I figured out the sluggish issue. Also, I need to fix this big gaping hole right here, which I ordered someone's parts, a 3D printed part that goes over that, and they also have the boot to go with it. I'll put his website here. He's got a bunch of other cool EF 3D printed stuff. You should check it out if you're into Civics, and generally he's got EGs, EKs, all that stuff. So let's go over what the issue was before we get into the actual video. All right, so this guy, oh, is the car not in? Whoops. The car started rolling. We're not, and the e-brake's not up. So, there we go. Yeah, back to what I was saying. This guy, master cylinder was bad. I took the old one off and the rod going in, you could hear it going tss, tss, every time you push it in, it was puffing out, so it wouldn't allow the system to actually bleed. So this guy's on. We vacuum bled the whole thing again, and the brakes are solid like they should be. Going on to the sluggish issue. So if y'all remember, because you watch all my videos, the SI transmission that came with this engine, the rear mounts were, the threads were pulled. I tried fixing it, ended up drilling a hole through the transmission. So I need to take the casing off, get it rewelded and everything, and I just didn't want to fool with that. So I had two spare transmissions, both unknown, and of course this one has a reverse grind. But we was diving into it. I was talking to my buddy Andy, Pop's Garage. He's got a YouTube, you should check it out, put it somewhere around here. We were talking about it and he's like, is it a 4-speed? Because I sent him a video of me doing a first and second gear, and I was like, no, it's a 5-speed. And he's like, it's an HF transmission. If no one knows about that, the CRX HF is basically like the Civic VX EG hatchback, to kind of sum it up. It's a very fuel efficient car. I think they get close to 50 miles per gallon. I'm sure someone can let me know in the comments. But regardless, it's basically a 4-speed transmission with another long gear for 5th gear. And I think from what I've read, that engine is built specifically to work in tandem with that transmission. So that transmission made up to the D16A6, it just doesn't work properly. Basically, anything past 3rd gear is useless. I can do 70 in 3rd gear, like under 3,000 RPMs. It's crazy. With all that being said, my second spare transmission is this guy. I compared the gear ratio of the SI, as you can see here, and then in the differential, same here. This should be an SI transmission or a DX if I, did the markings wrong. And the DX isn't that much different from the SI, but it'll still be so much better than that HF in there. So if the car doesn't sell by the time I get done with this, which is today's video, I'll probably end up dropping that transmission, put one of these in it, just so when people come to drive it, they don't think there's an issue. Because for a while I thought the clutch was slipping or something I had done wrong. I mean, in the first person I looked at the car, which is the only person who looked at the car, they thought the same thing. They're like, why is it so sluggish? I was like, I don't know. It shouldn't be. So they had me question myself, like my workmanship. So feel better there. It's always good to know that you did good work and it's just something that you put in was not right. If we put that transmission in, I think the car should be 100%. I feel confident selling it. If someone comes here, they shouldn't have any worries about the mechanical side of the car. It still needs tires. I've been searching for some 15 LS Meshies, SIs, Fat 5s, something like that to put on here, because I got a bunch of burner 15s, 195/50s I could just throw on there and get those dry rod tires off. So that's not another worry for someone else. So there's a lot of working parts. I'm trying to put a bunch of money into it. From what I did with the master, the thermostat, and the battery, it's $179, which in the retrospect of things and all the money I've saved from selling other parts, like for the D1686, is basically paid for. Everything's basically profit. I'm rambling a lot at the beginning of the video. Hopefully I didn't lose y'all. Maybe I have to put this somewhere else in the middle. But yeah, we'll maybe record some more of that because I don't anticipate this taking long. So let's jump into what this video actually is about. So as y'all know, I'm doing Drift Week. I mentioned that a very long time ago now. I'll put the video up here for you to go check that out if you don't know what I'm talking about. But I was supposed to start on this car a long time ago, but the brown wagon took a while, and I've been slacking, and the baby, and vacation, and lots of excuses, but no more excuses. Brown wagon's done. Time to get on this thing. First things first, I need to get a cage. That is like one of the main things I need to get to do Drift Week. Everything else in my car is basically good. There's no other requirements. I need intrusion bars. That's kind of the main things of why they want a cage, and obviously door bars for, you know, tandems. But the intrusion bar was one of the main things Aaron mentioned I need. That's why this car needs a cage. I wanted to do the cage because I hit up 2 people. They were either booked out or moving shops and they couldn't do it in time. So I was looking at doing it myself, buying some piping, getting the equipment, and then I could make my own like bash bars and stuff. I hit up one of my buddy's fabricators, and he told me he couldn't give me the pipe. It'd be better off to go to so-and-so shop that he gave me. But I was like, hey, by any chance would you do the cage for me? And he said, yeah. When do you want to do it? And I was like, sooner than later. When are you free? And he basically said, in a week I can do it. It takes about 2 weeks. And he gave me a really good price. But basically, we got to get this thing stripped, give it to him tomorrow, and then he'll go to town on it. Plan is to do close FD spec, make the door bars not intrude so much that we lose our window regulators, and then figure out a way to do a dash bar that doesn't go through HVAC. The goal is to try to keep this thing as much as street comfortable as we can with a cage in a car. Let's dive into getting this thing stripped and ready for our man. I should have listened to people when they said don't go with chase bays, and here's a perfect example. If you can see at the top of that bolt, there is aluminum threads because this is a steel bolt and aluminum is softer than steel. This part right here is aluminum. Also, another reason why this part failed is, as you can tell, it has a single point of contact, which makes it a single shear linkage arm. Basically, force is only applied to this area, and the way this force is applied is why it pulled those threads out. So a way to fix this is I could run a bolt all the way through this, through that, and then put a nut on the back. Then I wouldn't have to worry about pulling these threads out. I don't know how I feel about doing that because I really need this car to work on Drift Week, and I don't need that to fail again. I'm going to be driving with some of the best drivers in the world, and I want that brake to work because you really need a working e-brake hydro to lock those rears up, keep your distance in tandeming, and yeah, I want to experience that. Even though I'm not as good as them, hopefully I get the chance, and I want to experience, and I want my car to work properly. Some people might say to fix the brake cable on the parking brake, which maybe I should go ahead and do that just in case this ever happens. I at least have that to fall back on. Another thing we can do to fix this problem, I could take this to work, reverse engineer it in CAD, basically mirror this mounting spot over here and have 2 points of contact, would make this a double shear mechanism, which is basically double the strength. So it'd be that point over there, this point over here, and a bolt going through. Again, I think would be beneficial to still put a nut on the back side, just have through holes. But then again, I don't know if I want to do that. At this point, I don't know if I trust any of his work, even though I think everything else looks like it was thought out and should be strong. At this point, I don't know. I messaged him on Instagram about the issue, didn't get anything back. I guess at this point he just has accepted that he sucks and he just has the rep that he has. I don't know. To me, I think that's bad business practice, but what do I know? Anyways, yeah, let's get back into it and continue taking this car apart. Alright, we got seats out, all of that stuff. We have the dash out. We have the carpet left. I've got to extract all of my ghetto wiring to make stuff work. And then I need to contact this dude because I don't know what else I need to take out. I'm assuming all that stuff. I don't know if he wants this thing drivable or not. If I need to basically rip all the rest of that out, like harness and stuff, and just leave it hanging. I'm not sure, so I'm going to do what I can and what I think is needed to be done, and then we'll give him a ring and see what else I'm missing. I'll just send him a picture, be like, yo, is this good, or what else you need? So in the meantime, let's get the ghetto wiring out, the carpet. Oh, this guy, forgot. We gotta remove the roll bar. So let's get it all out. All right, next day, we are finally taking that guy to the fab guy. I didn't really talk to him about YouTube or anything, so we probably won't record over there, but this is the last time you'll see this thing without a cage in it. It'll be officially a race car, I guess you could say. So take one good look at it, because hopefully in this video or maybe the next one, we should be fully caged. Let's go. There it is. Off to the fabricator. There's Sydney struggling to put Evelyn in her seat. Off to the house to start on the Civic. What is up? We have a buyer that I am 90% sure is gonna actually buy it. He's coming 3.5 hours away from Kentucky. So I'm trying my best to prep this car as much as I can so that he has a good safe travel back. One of the main concerns was the tires that were on it were dry rotted. I was going to get some this weekend, but it's not the weekend yet, it is Friday. So I got some off Sydney's car. 2 of them were really good, so I put them on the front. The ones in the back have like a little bit of dry rot. So I'm praying it makes it. It should make it. I mean, they're not too bad. But yeah, I was going to put the RT4 drive wheels from this on here. Well, take the tires off, put it on these rims. Turns out they're 14s. I guess I, mistake that. So yeah, and he's not getting those rims. Those rims are very rare and precious. So I went over the car, I'm taking the water out, putting radiator fluid in. I checked all the light. The harness for the back driver brake light and the running light wasn't working properly. Took a harness off the wagon outside that's wrecked. We're good now. Also swapped some bulbs around from that wagon and got all the lights working. The last thing, which is the main reason why I wanted to record this, was this guy right here. So if you remember, I made a little aluminum plate. Oh, here it is. This guy. Cover up that hole, and I was going to put a boot right here. Well, that boot ended up not working out. I ripped it trying to get it over these things. And one of my buddies off Instagram told me about this right here. And the guy who makes it, his company's called Naton Tech. Basically, he makes a plate that uses these 4 holes and these 2 holes, which I already put rib nuts here. I decided to put rib nuts here. And the hardware he gives us matches the stock thread pitch, but he also gives you a little thing of bolts with nuts and washers to basically go through all these holes that are already pre-drilled. He also sells these little boots. So this is the bottom boot, and then there's the top boot that has little coils in it. I just went with a bottom boot, and I was going to get a normal shift boot, which I had coming in, but hopefully this guy buys this and I don't have to worry about it. So now we need to put this cover back on, and that should be about it to get this car fully ready. I torque spec the crankshaft down because I haven't done that yet. Check the axle nuts. I did a little indent on the axle nuts. I would like to go to O'Reilly's, get wiper blades because all the wiper blades are crap. Yeah, that's about it. I made like a little list for everything so I didn't forget. Really hope this car makes it. I don't doubt the car that it won't make it, but there's always that like thing in the back of my head that like I hope nothing does, because that's a long drive and it really sucks for something to happen. I told him about the transmission where the grinding and then it being a 4-speed HF transmission with like the 5-speed long gear. I'm giving him that guy right there. Yeah, feel pretty confident. It's a good price. Hope he buys it. So fingers crossed. There she blows. It's bittersweet.
Well, yeah.
What do you think?
I'm glad it's gone.